The Crush, George Wallace, and Fort Hood are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is April 2nd, 2021. It is the 92nd day of the year. There are 273 days left in 2021. It's your 14th Friday of the year. It's also the 14th day of spring, and there are 80 days left until summer. If today's your birthday, your birthstone is a diamond or a crystal. I guess diamond if you're rich, crystal if you're, kind of broke. And tax day's been pushed back to May 17th this year for some of us. Talk to your tax man. Last year during the pandemic, they pushed it back like 3 months, which was great. But now I guess it's pushed back only a month. Today is Walk to Work Day. Walk to Work Day seeks to encourage people to walk to work, I guess. Yeah, so this one sort of lost its impact during the pandemic. I mean, how far of a walk is it to your computer from your bedroom? Or even if your computer's in your bedroom. My wife could literally get out of bed, walk 3 feet, turn her chair around, and sit down and start working. Me, I have to go in the next room. This day promotes walking to work as a healthy and environmentally friendly alternative. It aims to educate and inform people about physical and mental benefits of walking outside. Walking is known to lower blood pressure, help maintain healthy weight, and lower the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Walk to Work Day seems to have been started in 2007 as a promotion for walking. It is observed annually on the first Friday of April. All right, so walk to work. Let's see what else April 2nd has given us. 1900, the United States Congress passes the Forker Act, giving Puerto Rico limited self-rule. Now, we didn't own Puerto Rico for very long before this. Actually, we got it when we won the Spanish-American War, which was in 1898. It didn't even last the whole year. It was from like April 21st to December 10th, 1898. So after this, we won and we went to Puerto Rico and we say, hey, we won the war. And they're all, hey, thanks for getting rid of Spain. We really weren't cool on being owned by another country. And we're all, yeah, here's the thing. We own you now. And it's, always hasn't been the best relationship. But these days, maybe it's still not the best, but it's better. 1917, World War I, the United States President Woodrow Wilson asks the U.S. Congress for a declaration of war on Germany. And he gets it. This is the first time we have to declare war on Germany. 1956, As the World Turns and The Edge of Night premiere on CBS on ABC. The two soap operas become the first daytime dramas with a 30-minute format. Yeah, and they went on for a very, very long time. The Edge of the Night went from 1956 to 1975 on CBS, then in 1975 to 1984. So it had a good run, 28 seasons to be exact. As the World Turns had an even longer thing. 54 years they went on CBS from 1956 to 2010. September 17th was their last airing. Soap operas are there any soap operas left? Those daytime television soap operas? I know they have some at night that are considered soap operas, but those daytime ones, which I've had the flu and stuff and nothing to watch back in the day, and I've tried to sit through a couple of them, and it was really hard to watch. I couldn't stand it. Actually, here's a weird fact. When I was in the Army and we'd be locked down in the barracks, meaning, for months at a time because we were on an alert status, we had nothing else to do. During the daytime, we'd, need something to watch. We ended up watching Days of Our Lives. It was like a whole bunch of dudes cleaning machine guns, watching Days of Our Lives or Days of Our whatever it was called, religiously. It was weird. That was like a strange couple months there. It was strange. 1982, the Falkland War. Argentina invades the Falkland Islands. Yeah, this, really didn't make Great Britain happy. I mean, these were their islands. They're right off the coast of Argentina. Argentina always saw them as their own land. The United Kingdom had other ideas, so they decided to take the island as their own. Well, then Great Britain showed up, and it didn't go well for the Argentinian military. 1986, Alabama Governor George Wallace, a former segregationist, he's best known for standing in the doorway of a schoolhouse so black students couldn't get in. Yeah, he announces he will not seek a fifth four-year term and will retire from public life upon the end of his term in January of 1987. In 1992, in New York City, Mafia Boss John Gotti is convicted of murder and racketeering and later is sentenced to life in prison. John Gotti and his brother grew up in poverty and turned to a life of crime at an early age. Gotti quickly became one of the rising stars of the crime family he was involved with. Operating out of the Ozone Park neighborhood of Queens, New York, he and his crew became one of the top earners for the Gambino crime family. Following an FBI indictment of members of Gotti's crew for selling narcotics, Gotti began to fear that he and his brother would be killed by Castellano for dealing drugs. A lot of the crime families back in the day didn't really like dealing drugs. They thought it was just destroying the neighborhood and everything else like that. Some of the crime families would have rather you stayed with the usual ones like extortion, bribery, hijacking trucks and whatever else they get into. As this fear of Castellano killing him and basically a lot of people grumbling about the way Castellano was running the Gambino crime family, Gotti organized the murder of Castellano. On Monday, December 16th, 1985, Castellano and his driver came to a prearranged early evening meeting at Sparks Steakhouse in Midtown Manhattan on East 46th Street near 3rd Avenue. A 4-man hit team waited near the restaurant's entrance while Gotti watched from across the street. As Castellano was exiting the car at the front of the restaurant around 5:26 p.m., the gunman ran up and shot him several times. Several days after Paul Castellano's death, John Gotti was named as the interim head of the Gambino crime family. So they had what would be considered headquarters. It was called the Ravenite Social Club. It's in New York. Well, the FBI was able to bug the place and ended up getting enough to send John Gotti away for life, which they did. Now, I just broad brushed a whole bunch of stuff, but this is an 8-minute video. John Gotti died in prison in Springfield, Missouri in 2002 at the age of 61. 2014, a spree of shootings occur at Fort Hood Army Base in Texas. 4 people were killed, including the gunman, and 16 others were injured. Movies released on April 2nd, 1993, The Crush. This was a freaky movie. It was kind of based on a true story, and it had the potential to ruin the dude's life that the story was written about. Of course, they added some Hollywood to it, but anyway, it's a 14-year-old girl sabotages the life of a journalist after he refuses her sexual advances. The girl was a little bit crazy, apparently. The movie was written and directed by Alan Shapiro. The film marked the feature film debut of Alicia Silverstone. Played a good part in that. She played a 14-year-old girl, and the movie is based on actual events involving the neighbor of the guy who wrote it, Alan Shapiro. This really happened to the dude, kind of. But in the end, you're not really sure what's going to happen here, but the girl ends up in a mental institute, and she starts basically the same shenanigans with her doctor that she did before. She's just a total nut job and trying to ruin men's life by trying to pull the Lolita card on them. Born on April 2nd, 1920, Jack Webb, American actor, director, and producer, also a screenwriter. Now, he was an interesting guy. He was the guy from Dragnet, Just the Facts, man, that very, straightforward cop on there. He was also with Harry Morgan, who played Colonel Potter on MASH. Now, they were together through this show for years. And Harry Morgan has a good story because apparently Jack Webb was very much a work, no humor, just the facts, just like the character he played. So it was towards the beginning of Dragnet when they first started. And Harry Morgan, he's a personable guy, I guess. And he made a joke with the crew and everyone laughed at the beginning of the day. And Jack Webb didn't say a thing, just kind of looked at him and kept working or doing whatever he was doing. And then towards the end of the day of filming, he made another joke. He said Jack Webb flipped out. He's like, I don't even know why we're here if we're going to be telling jokes all day. He's like, I told 2 jokes, one at the beginning of the day, one at the end of the day, and they just threw the man off. But he was very successful, so maybe it helped, having that drive and that seriousness. Died on April 2nd, 2005, Pope John Paul II. He was born in 1920. Now, I always felt bad when he was the Pope, because towards the end there, he was just so old, and it was just so sad. They just wheeling him out for events, and he couldn't even talk, and he was doing mass, and it was weird. It was weird. They should have let him retire or whatever. I don't know if they retire, what their deal is, but he was just so old. It was like, why is he still doing this? It was sad. Anyway, apparently he was a pretty good pope because he was poping it up from 1978 to 2005. When he died on April 2nd. Yeah, they didn't even give him any retirement. He just quit being the Pope the day he died. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a successful day, and be nice to each other.